We know you're just parking in that disabled spot for a second, but please, don't. We're just looking for the same respect and consideration as everyone else.
United Spinal Association is dedicated to enhancing the quality of life of people living with spinal cord injuries and disorders. Download our disability etiquette booklet at unitedspinal.org.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Memphis's original sports station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis. It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Welcome in, everybody. Jam-packed show we have for you on this Hump Day edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Jay Ham with you. It's officially the Wednesday, September 24th, 2025 edition. We are live and local, as we are each and every day throughout the day. Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale going on right now. They're located at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Everything from swim spas to cold plunges and much, much more. Family Leisure, again, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Well, today there's a good news, bad news weather scenario. The good news is the high temperature today only reaches 80. At least that's the forecast. The bad news is there's going to be more rain and more thunderstorms. Probably heard a lot of booms throughout the night last night. We had some thunderstorms rolling through. Cloudy early, scattered thunderstorms developing this afternoon, about a 45% chance. Showers early this evening with a low of 68. And then tomorrow, looks like things will clear out. Mostly sunny, a little bit of clouds. Still about a 25% chance of rain. 80 for your high on Thursday. So hopefully it's hit or miss in your area. But we certainly needed the rain. And we got some yesterday, but probably not enough, as some people would say, who certainly pay attention to their grass, their lawn, golf courses, no question about it. We got a busy show today. I mean, really, really busy. We'll open up with a number of headlines from yesterday, college football, NFL. We got a lot of things to get into. Ryan Silverfield will join us at 7:25, Memphis Tigers head football coach. We'll talk Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole at 8:05. Camp opens up on Monday. Media Day's Monday. It is here, folks, ready or not. Jerry Palm will join us at 8:25 to talk college football and what a week of games we have in college football. Doug Barron at 9:05, who just won the Pure Insurance Championship at Pebble Beach, his fourth Champions Tour win. He'll join us to talk about that, and sure we'll get some thoughts on the Ryder Cup from Doug Barron, the Ryder Cup, which will start on Friday from Bethpage Black on the island in New York. And then at 9:25, we talk Memphis Tigers basketball with Parth Upajai. Tigers making the roster official yesterday with the moves that they made. We'll talk to Parth about that and moving forward. And before too long, the college basketball season will be here. So that's your lineup for today. Absolutely packed. Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines by texting in. I don't think we're going to have a time for calls with all the guests today, but you never know. But certainly to read your texts, 901-360-8255. Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't even know if we'll get to the baseball, which was crazy last night, and will continue to be crazy, I would think, throughout the rest of the week, including the final day of the regular season, which is Sunday. But we start with college football and the firing of Mike Gundy. Now, I don't think anybody's surprised that Oklahoma State was going to make a move eventually. But to make a move now with a guy who has meant so much to that program, that university, he has 10 10-win seasons. They've only had a few others outside of what he has done as the head coach. In his 21st season, You lose to Tulsa, you lose at home, disgruntled fans, and the boosters aren't backing you anymore. Mike Gundy had to go, and he is gone. Owed $15 million through the 2028 season.
This is really, it's quite incredible how quickly the wheels came off at Oklahoma State. If you just go back 1 year, at this point last year, after 3 games, Oklahoma State was coming off a berth in the Big 12 championship game the previous season. They were 3-0 last year with a win over Arkansas, a win they should have never gotten, but Arkansas gave them that game. But they were 3-0.
That's what Arkansas does.
They were ranked 13th in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
1 year ago today, after week 3 last year, they were ranked 13th in the nation coming off of a Big 12 championship game the year before. They then proceeded to lose 9 straight games last year to end the season, ending that with a 52-0 loss to Colorado. They beat UT Martin, get the doors blown off by Oregon by 60, and then lose at home to Tulsa, and Mike Gundy's out. Like, if after week 3 last year, somebody would have told you that 1 year from now Mike Gundy will be fired, they would you would have thought, oh gosh, what the hell did he do? Like,
right.
What did he do off the field? Like, what did he get in a fight with somebody in the state? Like, what in the world? There's no way a guy who has been at a school for 20 years, you would possibly think that it could go that bad in the period of 1 calendar year that it would go from ranked 13th in the nation and 3-0 to fired after week 3 the next season.
If you don't think we live in a what have you done for me lately world, we certainly do. Because like you said, there's a guy who 3 games in the last season had it going. And for 20 years, this has been a very good program. And the wheels come off, and they waste no time. That is the 3rd coach already, early in this season, that has lost their job at a high-profile school and program. Virginia Tech, UCLA, and now Oklahoma State. So names quickly surfaced, not coming from their people. I'm not sure if they'll hire a search committee, but from the media. Jeff Traylor, UTSA. J.G. Kinney, who's a young coach on the come. Jeff Monken at Army, a former Gundy assistant. Zach Robinson, who played at Oklahoma State. Colin Klein, he played actually at Kansas State, but he is sought after. Ben Arbuckle's name pops up. These are some of the names that have already surfaced. So now you're in an arms war because you want to get a coach in quickly for recruiting purposes, and then the portal, which will be once instead of the spring, it'll just be the winter. So you're going to have to move pretty quickly. But then again, you want to look at a huge candidate pool. And who knows what other moves will be made. But then again, if you sit and you wait, other schools will be looking for head coaches. So it is a dilemma for schools that are in this position. But we did not see, I don't recall last year, this early in the year, having these type of firings. But it seems like this is the trend in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten earlier and earlier just because of the situation with the portal and the fact that basically once the season ends, you need to be able to get your coach in place in order to recruit your own guys. Try and keep what you can off your current roster, then worry about, okay, what do we got to go do in the portal and everything else. But, this allows you to start putting the feelers out, know who's interested, who's not interested, all of those things, and get your list ready and start talking to people so that, you can have that guy in place. Basically, obviously you're probably hiring somebody who has a current job, but as soon as their season or that season ends, boom, we can get him in place and he can start going to work on our roster. And again, the biggest part of it is just trying to recruit the guys off our current team that we actually want to keep here and see if we can do that.
Like I said, this is the 3rd already. it won't be the last in season. That's the trend, and we'll see who's unfortunately going to be next, hearing their name called and getting that pink slip. In other college football news, John Mateer broke his hand in the Oklahoma win over Auburn and is going to have some surgery where he is projected to be out at least a month. Now, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But good thing for them that they have Kent State and then they have a bye week. But then it starts to get really tough with the schedule. Oklahoma right now is doing things really well on defense. So they're in every game because of that defense. But Mateer has been a revelation. And you certainly don't want to lose him for longer than that. Hopefully for their sake that he's back and ready to go in a month.
Yeah, massive news, massive loss for them. Anytime you're having surgery, you're just guessing on recovery, all that stuff. But hopefully for their sake, yes. I mean, obviously it's been a great start to the year. He's been absolutely fantastic and put himself up towards the top of the Heisman odds, and that's a big setback for him, obviously, as far as the Heisman Trophy is concerned, but a massive loss for Oklahoma.
Yeah, what was the stat I saw that there has been only one player that missed a game against a power conference school that still went on to win the Heisman? When you only have 12 games in a regular season and maybe a championship game, do they even have the championship effect voting? Is the voting for the Heisman after the championship games, the conference championship games?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so you could have 13 games. But it's still a small sample size. You lose significantly if you miss several games. So, yeah, that could certainly hurt. Not saying that he is going to win the Heisman, but yesterday, remember I went over the updated odds from, I think, BetMGM? He was number one. He has quickly dropped.
Well, I would say he has no chance at winning now.
Yeah.
You miss a month, you're not winning.
Right. Like I said, one game's Kent State, one you got a bye week, but you're going to miss at least a couple of games. Sutton Smith, congratulations. The honors just continue to pour in for him early in the season. The Memphis Tigers running back named the Doak Walker National Running Back of the Week. Had the huge game against Arkansas, had the big touchdown gallop late in the fourth quarter, which would prove to be the game winner. Sutton Smith has been everything that they had hoped, who has obviously been affected by injuries. Last year wiped out his whole season, wiped out a good portion of the year prior. They have told me, and I think Ryan Silverfield will be on with us in about 15 minutes, has publicly talked about Sutton Smith, that maybe he's the next great running back in that line of great running backs that Memphis has had. And he's proven it right now. He is off to a great start.
Yeah, the keeping him healthy, that's the biggest thing. But whenever he's been healthy, he has produced. And obviously the big run on Saturday against Arkansas, Ole Miss was not able to run the ball against Arkansas, and what Sutton Smith and Memphis and Brendan Lewis, everybody did. That was really an incredible performance running the football against them.
From the NFL, it has finally happened, and I shouldn't say finally, but 4 weeks into the season, Jackson Dart is getting the call. The former Ole Miss quarterback. It was announced by the Giants, Brian Daboll, their head coach, that Dart will start at quarterback this week, and Russell Wilson will head to the bench.
As I've said all along, I don't understand why you didn't start Jackson Dart to begin with, but this again illustrates just how bad the Cowboys' defense is. Russell Wilson has lost the job, but threw for a career high against the Cowboys. Like, how bad do you got to be in the other games to lose the job when in one game you threw for a career high, when it's not like you're in your third year, like, because you've had a long career.
After one game after that game.
Like, that's how bad everybody else is against every other defense. But the Cowboys' defense gives up a career high passing yardage to him. That's how terrible their defense is.
They could use Micah Parsons.
Jackson Dart's so mad that he didn't get to start against the Cowboys. That was the perfect thing. Like, please put me in that week. If I could have just gotten that week. He's got another game against the Cowboys. They got a game against the Cowboys down the road, but he's got to be so mad that they didn't make the move for that week.
It is very interesting because they do make the move for this week, as I mentioned, and they're going up against the undefeated Chargers. The Chargers in New York and New Jersey, to be exact, at 3-0, and the Giants a 6.5-point home dog. But that will be a challenge against that Chargers defense for young Jackson Dart. The Titans, who, along with the Giants, the Dolphins, and the Saints, and teams that are just awful and off to, obviously, ugly starts. Brian Callahan, friend of the show, is handing his offensive play calling duties over to Bo Hardigree after an 0-3 start. Hardigree was a play caller with the Raiders as an interim offensive coordinator in 2023. Remind me, wasn't he once a Tennessee Volunteer? Bo? Yeah, that's what I thought.
I
don't think he did much in college, but he's a coach in the NFL, and he will now be calling the plays for the Tennessee Titans. Don't think it'll make a difference, but we'll see. One other college note, official last night, the release of the SEC schedules for the next 4 seasons and also the permanent opponents, which we've talked about for the last 2 days. Anything that struck you from what you saw yesterday?
No. I mean, again, we knew the only thing that matters is to me, the 3 teams that you know you're playing every year. The other stuff, we know they're going to rotate. You're going to play them home and away in a 4-year stretch, everybody. So it doesn't matter whether you get them the first 2 years or the next 2 years. You're going to play them all home and away in a 4-year stretch.
Right. By the way, the Titans play the Texans. So the new play caller in a game against the Texans, who are also 0-3. But they're a little surprising being 0-3. The Titans at 0-3, I don't think is too much of a surprise. Major League Baseball made some big news yesterday, and I'm talking about off the field. They will implement the ABS challenge system for balls and strikes starting in the 2026 season. We have seen that in the spring as far as training camps are concerned down in Florida and Arizona. We have seen that in minor league baseball. The Redbirds use it, AAA baseball. But now it'll be implemented in Major League Baseball starting in 2026. 2 challenges for each team on calls by the home plate umpire. It has to be immediately after the pitch. It can be initiated by the pitcher, the catcher, or the batter. As long as you're successful, you keep those challenges. So you can have 1 million of them as long as you are correct. So it has finally happened, little robotic, if you will. We've moved into the 21st century and are letting technology make up for, unfortunately, a lot of mistakes made by home plate umpires or umpires in general. Although you don't want to take the complete human element out of the game, they are minimizing it.
Yeah, there was no doubt this was coming in for next season. It was when they used it in the All-Star game. It was kind of more of an unveiling of it to the general masses, because people generally aren't watching the spring training games. So the All-Star game was a way to introduce it more to fans and just see exactly how it works and all of those things. And I'm all for it. It doesn't cause any delay hardly at all. It'll be the biggest challenge of it is for the teams is to, just how do you want to use these? How early do you want to try and save them? And then, if you're not quite sure, that type of stuff. But yeah, I think it's very much welcome to Major League Baseball.
Do you think there's going to be a lot of hitters, especially hitters, maybe pitchers, maybe catchers, but hitters who will jump the gun? Call for it, because you have to do it immediately, and they're just maybe a little hot-tempered, and all of a sudden, boom, they blow one of the challenges or both the challenges early in a game, when it really is important to make sure you have a challenge left sometime when it's – and look, it's always important. The first inning is as important as the ninth inning, but you want to make sure you have something in your pocket, I would think.
Yeah, again, I mean, you have to kind of get the feel for it, but I think with the bases empty and 2 outs in the third inning, I doubt a hitter, even if he questions, it's going to challenge it. If bases are loaded and it's strike 3, it's a little different situation.
Right.
And to get,
But I'm saying they'll jump the gun because they're just going to do it on
these
impulse.
hitters and pitchers, like, they know the strike zone. Like, they're really good at it. And like,
do.
they know, like, if
we thought umpires did too.
That wasn't a strike. And when they used the time, again, in the All-Star game, we saw it on a couple of very close pitches, but they know. Like, they just know what's a strike and what's not a strike. So, again, I think there will be the idea, and it will be, I'm sure managers will talk to players about it, and the situation will dictate a lot of, okay, like, this isn't worth using one at this point. And we're better off, especially if you get down, if you do lose one at some point and you're down to one challenge. Again, if it's not a key situation in the game, you're probably going to be saving that.
Fireworks already starting. Look, last week of the regular season, there's going to be games of utmost importance and probably coming down to Sunday. But the fireworks really began last night. You had the Dodgers blow another lead and another great performance by Shohei Ohtani. They may have to think about using Ohtani as the closer because Tanner Scott's been lit up. They blow a game against the Diamondbacks, and the Padres had clinched a playoff spot, but they are still in it to win the NL West. You had, once again, in a head-to-head now, the Guardians winning and the Tigers losing. The Guardians winning 5-2 over the Tigers, and the Tigers, what was once and looked like invincible lead in September in the American League Central, now they're actually behind the Guardians with just a few games left to go, 5 games left to go. Absolutely incredible. The drama is really heating up.
Yeah, and, that was Tarek Skubal last night for Detroit, so Cleveland gets the win. He was good until the 6th inning, and the wheels kind of came off. Just extremely scary situation in that game where he hit David Fry in the face with a 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
I saw that video.
That's just, and the reaction by Skubal told you all you need to know. Like that, he was freaked out by that. I mean, that's just scary as hell. And hopefully Fry will be okay. But yeah, they've moved into a tie. They've got the tiebreaker. Cleveland does over Detroit. So, they were 15.5 down at one point. And so this would, if they do end up winning the division, be the biggest comeback ever. And they've won 16 out of 18 now. Detroit has lost 10 out of 11. And again, Detroit's only one up on Houston for the third wild card. Detroit could end up all the way out of the playoffs if this continues. So it's interesting. My Cubs are in the middle of a collapse, trying to let the Padres catch them for the top wild card spot and home field advantage in their series. They lost their 5th straight, blew a 5-run lead last night against the Mets, which the Mets obviously had to have the win. That gets them back into the lead for the 3rd wild card spot as the Reds lost. So it's there's a lot of moving parts going on right now.
Yankees win, Blue Jays lose. Yeah, Yankees win. They're within a game of Toronto now. They clinch a wild card spot at least. So yeah, drama with a capital D in Major League Baseball this final week of the regular season. Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 Memphis is a revolutionary basketball training facility. There is nothing like it. They have other facilities around the country, but nothing like it in Memphis or around the country. When you go into this facility, you're going to see that cutting-edge technology. You're going to see that instant objective feedback because the analytics, they're right there for you. When you go into these shooting bays and you're chucking up your shots, they're going to tell you where the arc is, where the depth is, and where it needs to be. That's why you're going to improve by repetition and by seeing that instant feedback. Plus, you got coaches. One-on-one expert coaching from coaches that have coached at every single level. So there is no question in my mind, if you want to become better as a shooter, a better all-around basketball player, this is the place for you. This is numero uno. That's why you've had guys like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, even John Morant, others that have used this system. Thaddeus Young is one of the owners of Shoot 360 Memphis. So all you aspiring young talent, even college stars, NBA players, whoever you are, it just makes sense to check out Shoot 360 Memphis, and you can join on a monthly membership. You can't beat it. I'd say you go there, you take the tour, you join for a month, check it out. If you don't like it, you move on. If not, you sign up for more months. I think you're going to fall in love with it, especially during the winter months. You got that indoor facility. There's nothing like it. Give them a call in Cordova at 901-779-3176, or just stop by. It's Big Orange Road in Cordova, Now, the original 85 Market Street in Collierville, a lot of emphasis on volleyball over there, 901-316-5500. The future of basketball training is here. It's called Shoot 360 Memphis.
Hey, Texter Texas is now baseball games will be over 3 hours again. This takes literally about 10 seconds.
Yes, it's instantaneous. The technology's right there.
This is immediate. This might add a minute or two, possibly, if you had a bunch of challenges. This is adding nothing to games lengthwise.
The Memphis Tigers sky high after their win over Arkansas, but they have to come back down to earth as they get ready for conference play starting this Saturday. When we come back, we'll be joined by the head coach of the Memphis Tigers, Ryan Silverfield. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Let Bryant Dacus and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon. Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
If you are 50 or older, it is recommended that you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. If you're an adult 19 to 49 with certain underlying medical conditions like asthma, diabetes, chronic heart disease, or COPD, vaccination is also recommended. Talk to your doctor about vaccination today and learn more at lung.org/protectyourself. Furnished by the American Lung Association in collaboration with Pfizer.
All right, the guys are at the game, so it's shopping time.
Ugh, I hate them all.
I mean JTV.
Jewelry television? I'm obsessed with their jewelry. Have you seen their artisan collections?
And the color gemstone jewelry, they have gemstones I've never seen anywhere else. Plus, they even have gifts for men.
Right now, new customers receive 25% off their first purchase of $50 or more when they visit jtv.com/radio.
Did you know they have more than 90,000 products?
Maybe the game will go into overtime.
If you're lucky, the next time you visit Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect downtown neighborhood bar, Harold will be behind the bar. You've probably been served by Harold at one time or another. He's a Memphis legend. Harold is the kind of bartender every bartender wants to be. He's been everywhere, seen everything, and done just about anything you can think of, and he has a story about everyone. Now, he's not going to force you to sit through stories if you want to just chat with your friends or be quiet by yourself. But if you engage with Harold at Bell Tavern, you won't regret it. If you want a cocktail and a tall tale, go to Bell Tavern.
Sports 56 Traffic.
Good morning. Starting a bit heavy or coming out of Fayette County into Shelby County. Right on schedule, actually, on 40 coming westbound here at Canada Road, Chambers Chapel, as it builds to Midtown in a couple of spots. I-40 at Chelsea on the increase with that volume 55 northbound up through South Haven. Weimer's Jewelry wants you to know they are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. Stop by and see them today at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Ow, she's a brick house. She's mighty, just letting it all hang out.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings. The Memphis Tigers will hit the road. They'll head to Boca Raton this Saturday to take on Florida Atlantic and look to extend the nation's longest winning streak, which currently is at 8. That's after the Tigers knocked off Arkansas on Saturday. We're very pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Memphis Tigers, Coach Ryan Silverfield. Hey, Coach.
Morning. How's everybody doing? Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us. Everybody's fantastic. I know you're a look-ahead guy, look to the next game, but sometimes you got to stop and smell the flowers, and what you guys were able to do on Saturday, the way you did it, the rally from 18 down, what does that say about your team?
I think more than anything, it speaks volumes about the type of young men we have in our locker room, right? The culture that they built, the work ethic. It's all a mindset and approach. And, leading up to the game, the guys had a no-fear attitude. They knew that they had the ability to win this football game. And then throughout the course of the game, the ebbs and flows, ups and downs, the score differences, the guys believed. And they were going to keep swinging. And, thank goodness for them. They continue to swing to that last punch-out. But, yeah, it speaks volumes to the way they work and care and the grittiness of a team. And that's ultimately what you want, right? We're going to play teams that have some better talent at certain positions, and obviously an SEC team that was loaded. And I think our guys just, deep inside, found a way.
How important was it to get that touchdown right before halftime? After they had scored to go up 18, you guys come right back down, you get the touchdown, get within the 11 at half rather than 18. And then also, what was kind of the message at halftime coming off of that going into the second half?
Sure. Well, those 2-minute situations, which we've talked about situational football quite often on the show, are so important, right? In fact, this morning here, about an hour, I'll be working another 2-minute situation because I think that's what ends up happening, right? Whether it's before the half or end of game. And ultimately, that was huge, right? Because what it does is it gives the guys, okay, hey, listen, like I said before in the post-game press conference, there's no 18-point plays, right? This is not the XFL. We can't sit there and say, okay, hey, this one play will get us to 18. So let's chip away at this thing. Obviously, the score before half made a significant difference when it's all said and done. And then at halftime, look, I went to almost every position group. I said, we got these guys, right? And everyone, oh, absolutely. Like, we can handle them. And, sometimes there's the unknowns. Hey, can we win the man coverage? Can we guard these guys? Can we physically block these massive guys on the defensive line? Can we handle the reads? Can we handle the environment? And, to a T, every single group's like, absolutely. And so, believe it or not, before we ran back out there for halftime, after to start the third quarter, I said to the guys, I said, we got them exactly where we want them. and a lot of the guys that have known me pretty well were like nodding their head, and some of the new guys were like, this dude really is crazy, but hell yeah, let's go. And obviously
or maybe you're a prophet, Coach. Maybe you saw the future. So, that was just tremendous. Here's another thing that I thought was tremendous. First of all, Greg Duosier comes out there and gives it all he's got and really made a difference. I was really surprised how well he cut, and I know he was hurting after the game because I talked to him. Then you had a guy like Chris Adams who went down just before halftime, and I thought there's no way. You put weight on his foot. He comes out and plays the second half. Look, we use gutty, gritty a lot in this city, but that was a perfect example.
And I think you're exactly right, Greg. I think that's the type of young men we have here, right? It's I couldn't be more pleased, right? Greg, he was in pain for sure, but he told me, he's like, there's no way I'm missing the game. He goes, I'm not letting you hold me out. And I said, well, okay. Then the doctor cleared him, which is great. And then, for Chris, you saw it, you and I both saw it. Right? We're talking, and he's trying to warm up, and he couldn't even move, and every time he put weight on, he almost fell down. And then we go and get in the offensive huddle, and me and our line coach say, okay, yeah, there's no way he's going. So we actually warmed up guys at different spots, and sure enough, as we go after that kickoff, we get in the offensive huddle. He physically removes our offensive line coach. He says, "You're not keeping me out of this game," and you appreciate that about those guys. And I think so much where as fans, hopefully they realize like they don't do it just for their brothers in the huddle. They don't do it just for their coaches. They do it for all those people. The close to 40,000 that, paid their hard-earned money to go watch them play. And that's one of the reasons why they do it. And that makes me so proud of these young men.
When Arkansas is on that final drive, are you, first of all, telling your defensive guys, hey, we tried to get the ball out? Is that like a message constantly, if you can get the ball out, whatever? And then also, like, in your mind, how much different stuff is going on as you're thinking about, okay, if they do score, we want to make sure we have time left, but we don't want to give them extra time. So how do I use timeouts? Like, what's all going through your head as you're trying to figure out that situation?
Yeah, Eli, I think that other than the hamster going around on the wheel up there, there's it's a couple of things that go on, right? And that's my job, is to be able to put us in the best situation. So twofold. One, okay, hey, do we try to get the ball out, and when do I use our timeouts? Okay. Two, is there the thought of letting them score, which certainly has to cross your mind, right? I remind everybody at East Carolina, 5 years ago, we went to the 5 overtimes. We let them score. We were able to get the ball back and get to overtime. So that has to cross your mind. The thought was this: freshman kicker who had missed 2 field goals the week prior versus Ole Miss. And then maybe I did have a flashback to the 2019 Tulsa kicker, freshman missing the kick to make a difference in everybody's lives, right? So all those things are being part of it. Then I said, okay, let's keep swinging at this thing and take that chance, right? And I think at that point we're going to risk letting them, if the opportunity presents itself, try to kick a field goal to win the game. We did a decent job with our field goal block unit, and with the situation, that's what we're going to let it happen. I didn't at that point feel comfortable letting them score, and so ultimately it worked itself out. Tell them to keep swinging, and sure enough, Chris Bracey slid in there the last second and found a way.
Last thing on this topic, then we'll move ahead to Florida Atlantic this Saturday down in Boca. And that's the fact, and you alluded to it a little bit on the first question I asked you, but here's a packed house, a nationally televised audience on ABC. Again, you guys are able to knock off a so-called power conference school. You've done pretty well against them. We don't know how many more of those will be coming up with these conferences changing, how many conference games they're going to play, and so on and so forth. But again, that message that you sent around the nation that, Memphis is a darn good program and has been for a while now.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think, one, the significance of doing it in front of a sellout crowd is phenomenal. So I'm grateful. We are grateful for the fans pouring out and wearing their blue. And then ultimately, you're exactly right. What a national showcase game that was, right? I think it speaks volumes. Going back to what I said earlier, you want to show everybody what Memphis is all about in our university, our football program. That's the type of game, right? The grittiness that was shown. And ultimately, a lot of people got to sit there and see it. And, that's what you want people to understand. Hey, this is what we're all about. This is what our community is about, showing up and showing out. And then ultimately, right, I don't know how many more of those we get to play. I promise you, me and Ed Scott are working hard to try to schedule as many national opponents as we can. We're making calls, we're begging, we're pleading, as much as I'd love to play home and homes, we're doing whatever it takes, because I think that's what puts your program and continues to keep them on a national level.
Yeah. Brendan Lewis and the dual threat ability that he has shown, has he pretty much been what you expected when you got him?
Well, watching his film from Nevada and Colorado, I knew it wasn't. He didn't look like. No offense to my boys Brady White and Seth Hennigan, but he moved around a little bit better than those two. Look, I think more than anything, what I saw with him was he has the ability to do it all. And sure, was he as precise as he wanted to be in the first quarter? Probably not. But we can help him continue to put him in best situations. But yeah, he's doing a phenomenal job. I think hopefully Tiger fans are pleased with the product he's putting on the field. He loves the city. He loves being a part of this team. He's a young man that hadn't won a ton of football games in his college career. And sometimes when you're recruiting a quarterback, you got to take that into mind, because it ultimately starts with them. But I think he's bought in so much that, hey, this is how we do things. This is what we're all about. And yes, he's done a tremendous job. I've been very, very pleased with him. And the good news is he knows he has to continue to work to progress, to move forward, for us to continue to win football games.
Tigers football coach Ryan Silverfield joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest lines. I think I know you pretty well by now, and I know while you're so proud of this team that you went through the tape, play by play, inch by inch, and you know that you weren't close to playing a perfect game, and yet still won. I know that you are always going to strive for perfection. So now moving ahead to Florida Atlantic, now getting into conference play, what is the message coming off the high of that win for this week and then moving forward?
Yeah, well, if you do know me very well then, Greg, because if you sat in that team meeting on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, you would have said, man, they must have gotten their tails beat, because there was smoke and all sorts of things coming out of my mouth and ears, and just making sure we understood that we had not played to the standard that we're capable of. Yes, great, congratulations. Everybody's patting you on the back, right? People are going to be reaching out to you and texting you. But none of that crap means anything. We haven't accomplished a damn thing, myself included, right? Us as a program. And so ultimately, we didn't sign up to just go, okay, let's go 4-0.
Right.
And I reminded them very readily, listen, this is, you guys, the few that were around, right? We beat Mississippi State and then go and lose to Tulsa on the road, right? We beat Florida State last year and go and get embarrassed by Navy. So ultimately, nobody cares about what we did yesterday. And the focus, and I've used this term quite often during my time here, the blinders. And but playing a team coming off a bye, a night game on the road, our furthest travel on grass, there's going to be a lot of challenges. And so our guys have to be ready. It's the first up-tempo offense we've seen. And so we have to have the best week of preparation, and we can only do it one day at a time, right? We have all these goals and ambitions, but if we don't have a damn good Wednesday practice this morning, then shame on us. And so one day at a time approach, 1-0 every week, and the guys have seemed to bought into it, which has been a great thing.
So you believe in what Nick Saban calls rat poison? When you have all this, everybody telling you how good you are, everything else, try and block that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, let me tell you something. I've been around long, 27 years in this profession. I've been patted on the back, and that same hand slapped me on the back of the head a week later. So I'm no fool, and that's part of the reason why I'm off the social media. Because guess what? I don't need anybody telling me I'm good. I don't need anybody telling me I'm bad. Really, the few opinions that matter to me are generally in this building, and that when it's all said and done, all we can do is put our head down and keep swinging away.
So here are the facts. Caden Veldkamp last year, I believe, was the Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year. They are 1-2, but they're coming off a bye. This kid's thrown for 880 yards and 8 touchdowns. He has, though, been picked off 7 times. You said going into last week, turnovers, and you say it every week, are a key. And I think you turned over Arkansas 3 times. How big will that be this week against Florida Atlantic? Turn these guys over. Veldkamp has an arm, but maybe we can get to him.
Well, you're exactly right. I think, listening to their head coach talk as well, is like they want to be better in their turnover margin. And it's one of my staples, right? I believe every week when we talk about keys to victory here is really the turnover margin, right? I talk about owning the football and taking care of it and then getting takeaways. We've been successful the last few years doing so, and we have to every single week because what a difference it makes. Now, ultimately, it's the same quarterback that is averaging 30 completions a game that leads the FBS. Right, so they're going to throw it. They're going to do different things. We have to be able to handle the tempo more than anything. Yes, we'd like to get takeaways, but the ability to handle the tempo, because it's one of those, as we well know, 1 play, 2 plays, 3 plays, now they're taking a shot, and if we're not lined up correctly or we have miscommunication or we bite on the double move, they can be quick scoring opportunities for them. As a reminder, this head coach was the offensive coordinator at Texas Tech. So he's labeled as the youngest head coach in college football. He's labeled a clear offensive guru. He's been able to put up the numbers. So we're going to have to handle that and challenge him in as many ways as possible.
Last thing, Eli, got anything? All right, here's a quick question just to end it all. The portal news, and I don't think they have the dates official, but they are going to the 1 portal period and getting rid of the spring portal. Are you happy about that?
But, hey, maybe I get to see you guys on the golf course this spring.
I don't know about you, Coach. You may not still have the time, but it's good though for college football, right?
It really is. Look, everybody's going to sit there, and I'm all for what's best for the players. Okay, and I'm not a 25-year-old coach that doesn't understand things. Ultimately, listen, this is best for college football altogether. I promise everybody this is not, we're hurting the players' chances to better themselves. No, this is what's best. A kid in college can still go to 5 different colleges if he wants. Okay, so we're not, but hopefully this limits, we know what our team is in January, right? We can get through the workouts, we can develop a culture, we can understand what we're all about and who we're all about. And I think that's fair. I think it's fair to everybody. The players still have the ability to move around as often as they want, but just once a year, right? Rather than the kids that go through your spring, and now you're saying, hey, we have to hide our spring film. We got to do this. It makes more sense. And reality of it is, in spring, right, let me pour into our guys. Let me coach them. It shouldn't be, okay, I got to hunker down for 3 weeks and do official visits, and a guy's visiting his 9th school, and getting his, and just taking the world tour. So this is great. I think it makes sense We're going to continue to figure things out. I think there's going to be some rules on the red shirting coming out. I think there's going to be more rules on what this all looks like. But again, all I ever ask for is consistency. It's amazing, and I'm I'm blessed to be the head coach here. But we have not had a single calendar year, that's looked the exact same through the NCAA since I've been a head coach. And so I can't sit here and tell our football ops guy, hey, let's just copy and paste last year's calendar, because nope. So
good point.
Let's keep this for a couple years. Let's see if it works. Let's not just make rash decisions and quick ones. But I think it's in the best interest of all involved. And I think fans will be pleased, because maybe now you can sit there and say, that guy that did well in the spring, he's still here. Good, he didn't leave. We're not having to face him in 3 months.
That's great. We realize how busy you are. We can't thank you enough for joining us this morning, Coach. Best of luck, not only this week, but the rest of the season.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys. Go Tigers.
Thank you, Coach. Tigers head coach Ryan Silverfield joining us on the program. We'll take a quick timeout, come back, wrap up hour number 1. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Marshall Steakhouse is a feast for the eyes as well as the body. Enjoy all American USDA prime steaks, aged 30 days or more, and other delicious meats and sides. Marshall Steakhouse in Holly Springs, named the #1 steakhouse in Mississippi by the Food Network, and named in the top 2 most legendary steakhouses in the South by Southern Living Magazine. Make reservations today and get free bread pudding by calling 662-252-2424 or online at marshallsteakhouse.com. Marshall Steakhouse in Holly Springs, a Southern treat.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Five-Ash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
If you're looking for a cool new ride, run, don't walk to Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike. Get your 2025 Taos S. We Gossett $236 a month. How about 2025 Jetta Sport? We Gossett $239 a month. Plus a Gossett Volkswagen Covington Pike 2025 Atlas Cross Sport SE $279 a month. And every 2025 Atlas Peak Edition and SEL Atlas $5,000 off MSRP. That's all 2025 Atlas Peak Editions and SEL Atlas $5,000 off MSRP. So run, don't walk to Gossett Volkswagen 1875 Covington Pike or online GossettVWMemphis.com, where we're charging forward and charging less every day.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Volkswagen.
All 36 monthly, 7,500 miles, 25 cents excess mileage. Taos S SMO 56598, MSRP 27011. Jetta SMO 851138, MSRP 25916. Cross SE 23120, MSRP 39206. Peak Editions SEL Atlas 3500 manufacturer rebate 1500. Gossett discount includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Volkswagen credit. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 9/30/25.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Big thanks to Ryan Silverfield for joining us on the program. Hour 2 will open up talking Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole. They will open up camp on Monday. It'll be media day. We got a lot to get to with DeMichael. Of course, it's a huge weekend of college football. On Saturday in Oxford, it'll be the Rebs and LSU. We will have that game for you right here on Sports 56 mornings, beginning at 12:30 with the pregame show, 2:30 kick with the Rebs and with the LSU Tigers. Tonight at 6 o'clock, the Lane Train, Lane Kiffin, the interview on ESPN. That should be a hoot. We've seen little bits and pieces of that have trickled out, but it should be a fun interview with Lane. Lane's daughter, of course, making some news with her boyfriend being a linebacker on the LSU squad and coming out this week on social media and just, I don't know, maybe having some fun with the whole thing. That family seems to have a little bit of fun, maybe a little bit too much at times, but certainly Lane and his interview, you never know what he may say, but we'll have the game, we'll have the pregame for you starting at 12:30 on Saturday. And I would imagine, even though I did not hear anything from his presser on Monday, I'm sure he addressed the quarterback situation, and I'm sure it's out there. I just didn't see it. But I guess it's still the same situation that Trinidad Chambliss is the guy until Simmons is back from the injury. And even then, I think it's really a question now whether or not he goes back to Austin Simmons. But we'll see. Especially on Saturday, they win another game. They beat LSU. Chambliss puts up the big numbers again. Very hard to change when you got a guy rolling.
The thing tonight is more than just an interview. It's a documentary about Lane Kiffin.
Oh, it's a doc.
Yeah.
I thought this was the interview they did with him.
I mean, it's a big part of it is the interview with him. But I mean, this is a documentary about Lane Kiffin. It's Nick Saban and Pete Carroll and I think Steve Sarkisian. I mean, I know obviously his daughter was part of it. She talks about, I think, convincing him not to go to Auburn and stay at Ole Miss. But this was a full documentary on Lane Kiffin.
Okay,
that premieres tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out. No question about it. Missouri coach Eli Drinkwitz calls out the media for favoring quarterbacks in the Heisman coverage. Welcome to college football, Mr. Drinkwitz, Coach Drinkwitz, because that has always, unfortunately, been the situation. If you're not a quarterback, you have an uphill battle. He said, national writers, no offense to y'all, they just look at stats. Well, I'm sure they watch games too, and they watch performances, but yes, stats is a big part of it. He's addressing not his quarterback being in the mix, because he's obviously talking about the favoritism toward quarterbacks. He's talking about his running back, Ahmad Hardy, who has rushed for over 100 yards all 4 games so far from Missouri. All happen to be victories. I don't know. It's very hard, but we've had running backs win. We've had wide receivers win. But Hardy, no, he seems to be a guy that's now starting to make a little bit of noise. I don't think a lot of people really knew who he was before the season started, to be honest with you. And those quarterbacks, they get much fanfare. So it's pretty obvious the quarterbacks are always going to be favorites. I know a lot of people think it's a quarterback award, and to a certain degree it is, but stats are a big part of it. And yes, the media is going to do a lot of looking up statistics when they look at Heisman candidates.
Right. I mean, quarterback's the glamour position in sports. I mean, it's the most important position. It's the hardest position. It's everything. I mean, it's from NFL MVPs to Heisman trophies. Yeah. I mean, the quarterbacks are generally going to get those awards. It's could be unfortunate. If Hardy continues to do what he's doing through the SEC schedule, he'll get his he'll get up there and have his opportunity to be one of the guys invited to New York, whatever. I mean, it's still very early in the season. I mean, some of these teams haven't even played a conference game yet. So
right.
The idea of who's getting attention for Heisman Trophy, who cares at this point?
No, I'm with him. ESPN's top 100 players for the upcoming season has dropped. Yesterday, it was 50 through 100, and today it's your top 50, and that is out right now. 2 Grizzlies in the top 50. John Morant at number 33, and Jaren Jackson Jr. at number 31. Yesterday, Zach Edey came in at number 88. Oh, by the way, Desmond Bane, the former Memphis Grizzly, traded to the Orlando Magic, he is in at number 39. So 2 Grizzlies in the top 40, if you will, 3 in the top 100. Thoughts? And Jaren Jackson Jr., 2 spots ahead of his teammate.
I think that's pretty fair. I would, Jaron, I think, certainly could have an argument to be up possibly a little bit higher, but around that area, I think is very fair for him. And again, Ja just got to be on the court. If Ja's on the court, doing what he does, he would be higher, but he's got to be on the court.
And let me correct myself. I don't think they released the top 10. I'm not sure if they'll count down each day with one of those guys or they'll do the whole entire top 10. But they went all the way up to number 11, who happens to be Jalen Williams from Oklahoma City, Jalen, the all-star Jalen Williams, of course. Cade Cunningham, 12. Evan Mobley, 13. Anthony Davis, still 14. Donovan Mitchell, 15. Devin Booker, 16. Paolo Banchero, 17. Jimmy Butler, 18. Then Jaylen Brown, 19. And Kawhi Leonard rounds out your top 20. But again, that's 11 through 20. We'll get the top 10. You can imagine who's going to be on that list. Rattle them off right now, top of our heads, right? You got Jokic. Jump on in, J-Ham. You got Doncic. You got Tatum. You have SGA. That's 4. You have
Giannis, LeBron.
Giannis, LeBron. That's 6.
Brunson
wasn't on this list?
I don't think he was.
Okay, that's 7 then. Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
That would be 8. Who are we missing?
About Steph.
That's 9. Trying to see if any of these guys we just mentioned are on 9. No, they're not on there. Holmgren, no. Harden. Okay, so who are we missing? We hit 9 of them.
Did they have James Harden anywhere there?
Harden's already on here.
Okay.
They're not putting like Lillard on there, are they?
Nah, I wouldn't think so. Yeah, I wouldn't think Joel Embiid either. You named Paolo.
Well, it may be Embiid.
Yeah, if Embiid's not.
Yeah, I don't see. I'm already like Trae Young's 29. Let me see. I'm just rolling through now. Sabonis is 34. De'Aaron Fox is 35. Let's see.
Where's Wemby?
Oh, Wemby's got to be there, right? Wemby's got to be there. We just rattled off. Let me say 9. No, Embiid's 47.
How about KD?
No. Well, yeah. I mean, so who are we missing here? I think we just rattled off 11. It can't be. So somebody's not on that list. But you're right. Wembanyama, absolutely top 10. But that'll come out again. I don't know if they break it down like they'll have number 10 tomorrow, then number 9, or they'll put the whole list of the final 10, the top 10, if you will, on ESPN.com. Again, we'll talk more Grizzlies coming up with DeMichael Cole to open up hour number 2. One other NBA note. Yesterday, the 76ers announcing the signing of a couple of players to Exhibit 10 contracts. And 2 of those players with ties to Memphis. Amani Bates, the former Memphis Tiger who played with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Kennedy Chandler, a former Tennessee Vol who played a little bit with the Grizzlies. Both of those guys signed to Exhibit 10 contracts with the Philadelphia 76ers. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, as I mentioned, we'll open up with DeMichael Cole, open up hour 2, and then Jerry Palm on college football. Hour 3, we'll talk to golfer Doug Barron, who just won a Champions Tour event this past weekend at Pebble Beach, and then Parthu Pajai at 9:25 on Memphis Tigers Hoops. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm thinking back to school.
You mean the Rodney Dangerfield movie?
No, I'm trying to think of a theme for this month's Central Barbecue ad, and since it's September, I'm thinking back to school.
Well, it seems like you're kind of forcing it. What does going back to school have to do with Central Barbecue?
Well, get your school year started right by having Memphis's best barbecue.
No, I'm not hearing it.
Come on, it's a brand new year. Why not celebrate by getting the tastiest ribs in town at Central Barbecue?
It just sounds like a Central Barbecue ad, but with school shoehorned in.
Every student should enjoy some slow-smoked deliciousness.
Well, now that just sounds stupid.
You try writing a new Central Barbecue ad every month.
Just say Central Barbecue is good.
For school.
The WNBA playoffs are here, and the heat is on. Bet on your favorite teams and stars with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the WNBA. DraftKings puts you in the action with player props, live betting, parlays, odds boosts, and more. And for a limited time, all new DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HERGAME. That's code HERGAME for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Getting engaged is one of life's most spectacular occasions. And when you find your ring at Sissy's Log Cabin, the promise of a lifetime begins with our promise to always provide unmatched quality, superior service, and brilliant natural diamonds. Find your dream engagement ring, wedding bands, and more when you shop sissyslogcabin.com or stop by any of our 7 locations. Begin the rest of your lives brilliantly. Only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
This traffic report brought to you by Salt Sports Bar and Bistro, 3101 South Mendenhall Road, where great food meets the big game.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. T-Dot still out here trying to untangle a couple of wrecks we had earlier. Midtown traffic, it's gotten heavier. No surprise, really, on 240 north as you work your way from Norris all the way up to Lamar. It's picked up on the interstate here on I-40 around Warford, Hollywood, headed towards the 101 connector as it continues to build on 385 Billmores Parkway inbound on that ramp there to 240. Weimer's Jewelry is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. Stop by today. Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Memphis's original sports station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8 o'clock the time on this Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Jay Ham. We're broadcasting live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale going on right now. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 72 degrees, cloudy. It's going to get up to 80 today. That's the good news. The bad news is there's rain in the forecast once again. Could be some thunderstorms later this morning, early this afternoon. The storms may contain strong gusty winds. Then tonight, rain showers this evening, overcast skies during the overnight hours. We're looking at 68 for a low. Then things will clear out. Tomorrow looks pretty nice, 80 for a high, 60 for a low. Mostly sunshine, a little bit of clouds, about a 25% chance of precipitation. Michael Cole will join us in just a second. I want to tell you about James Gaddis Jewelers, our second-hour sponsor. They've been with us for years. You're looking for that beautiful engagement ring, wedding ring, personally designed wedding sets, or any other fine jewelry, James Gaddis Jewelers is the place for you. 60 years in Memphis, serving up Memphians and Mid-Southerners. They are full-service jewelers with 2 bench jewelers that are ready to serve you daily. All their diamonds are independently graded and certified. They understand there's a lot of competition. They make sure they have a price point to suit everyone's budget. So when you're looking for that special ring, make sure James Gaddis Jewelers is one of the jewelers you check out. You have gold, silver you want to sell. You need something appraised. James is a certified appraiser and a master jeweler. Bring it over to James Gaddis Jewelers. Think about Christmas and presents down the road for Christmas or for a birthday or for an anniversary. They got such a beautiful selection of watches and all types of other fine jewelry, including bracelets and necklaces and earrings and pendants. It's James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at GaddisJewelers.com. Time now to talk Grizzlies with Michael Cole.
2 watches, that's 12. Come through and slam on you. I'm in the air. Before it's all said and done, let me
It's time to talk some Grizzlies basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Here's DeMichael with Greg and Eli.
DeMichael is also the co-host of the Locked On Grizz podcast. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. Listen to him every single Wednesday with us here on Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning, DeMichael.
Good morning, fellas. How we doing?
Hey, good, right? We're right there. Camp will open up next week. We got Media Day on Monday. I know there's a lot of excitement in the air, and there's a lot to get to on the program. Before we dive into the Grizzlies on the court and what to expect in the camp, and then moving on to the preseason games, you did an interview with Memphis Mayor Paul Young, talked to him about the future of the Grizzlies and a new lease, which right now is up in the air. We know that they're under the old lease through the 28-29 season. How did that interview go? What were some of the highlights that the mayor said?
Yeah, it went well. I think, the main thing to take away from it is that, he said that everyone is negotiating in good faith. It means the Grizzlies and the mayor, the city of Memphis, that is, they're all working kind of in one court to get this thing done. I'm sure, we've talked about it and reported it in the past. There are certain things that's on the Grizzlies side, that they want, specifically with the downtown area and things like that. But that's some of those things have also, were emphasis as with the mayor, through his campaign trail and all the way up to now, same thing with downtown. So I think they're kind of aligned in that way, and now it's kind of at the process of where you have to iron out the details. Another thing that I wanted to ask him about was, the timeline, right? Because I believe it was February, he actually told the Commercial Appeal that, hey, we're hoping to, have a deal agreed to in principle by the end of the summer. And it's fall now, summer ended a couple of days ago. So it actually was a pretty timely interview, actually. But yeah, so with that being said, I kind of just wanted to, check in there and see, all right, the plan was the end of summer. Now we're here in the fall. Like, did things get delayed? How's that going? And basically, his perspective was, him saying the summer when he said that in February was kind of, setting, I think, a milestone, wanting to be aggressive in getting this process done, setting a goal, and wanting to kind of attack it from that standpoint. But now he says no timeline, but it's more so about the fact that, he said he can kind of guarantee that, they're going to be aggressive. That was his word. They're going to be aggressive in getting this done.
Do you have any doubts at all that they will get it done?
No, I don't. I really don't. I think where we're at now, I believe, is the part where you iron out the details. I think is both sides very strongly want to agree to something and eventually will, but it's now about just ironing out the details of what that process will look like. So I'm really not going to be concerned for probably another year.
Yeah, that's what I said. Somebody had asked me that, just a friend, and I said, let's wait until next year. Next year at this time, if there's still nothing ironed out, then I would be concerned, very concerned. Right now, I'm not. I know you asked the Grizzlies for a comment. They did not give you a comment, but then again, they don't give a comment for anything. What's the weather like, guys? I think it's sunny. Do you have a comment on that? No comment from the Grizzlies. They just keep it close to the vest. But it was a very good interview you did, and certainly, you're the mayor. You don't want to be the mayor that loses the Grizzlies on your watch. So, yes, I know it's extremely important to Mayor Young for many, many reasons, but they want to get a job done. They want to get this job done, meaning a new lease, keeping the Grizzlies here, and we'll see where things go. But DeMichael, of course, will stay up on that. As far as the team is concerned, got Media Day on Monday, and then they're going to head to Nashville again. I know there's people that look at that and go, man, another camp in Nashville? What is that? Is that a sign of things to come? We don't like Nashville. We don't like the connection or the connotations that come with Nashville. But they're heading out. I guess is it Belmont College that they're going, or Belmont University? But
yeah. They'll be at Belmont. They'll be at Belmont this year. Yeah.
What do you think about them leaving again to go outside of Memphis for camp?
It's no big deal. It's more of like a team bonding, team building type of thing. Like at the end of the day, it's not like they're going out in the community and kind of like doing a bunch of stuff. Like it's not that kind of trip. This is strictly business, as some people like to say. Like they're going out there, they're having closed practices. It's not like half the city of Nashville gets to see them practice or anything like that.
Right.
These are closed practices. And it's just about building, the team camaraderie, team chemistry. I know last year, after these practices and things, the team would hang out together and spend some time together. And again, you're not in Memphis, so it's not like, all right, after practice, everyone goes home and spends time with their family and jumps on the games or whatever they want to do. Like, you're with each other, and it kind of naturally, builds that bond that you have to have with your teammates early on in the process, because it's training camp. It's going to be intense. And but yeah, you see a lot of teams across the NBA are doing camps the way shoot. Even I know last year the New Orleans Pelicans did their camp in Nashville last year too. So
did they really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was two. There were two NBA teams in Nashville last year. It was the Pelicans and the Grizzlies were both in Nashville. But you have some teams. I mean, we see teams are going all across the globe to do their camps these days. I forget who it is, but I think one of the LA teams is going to Hawaii or something like that. But yeah, it's just like it's a good exercise. You get away for a little bit, and you learn a couple things about your teammates, and you get to focus on ball.
That's the thing. I think, especially with this year's team, that you've got some new guys coming in that are going to be key pieces of this. Plus, it is, he coached at the end of last year, but a new head coach generally. Like, I think getting away is a very smart idea, especially for this team.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not just the new rookies. You got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. You got Ty Jerome, coming in here. Jock Landale. All these are players that, you're really hopeful can be productive pieces, for you this upcoming season. So, yeah, it's good to go ahead and, learn a couple things or two, a thing or two about these guys. Like, players have definitely been working out. They've already been doing workouts and stuff at FedEx Forum and whatnot. So that process has already started from a basketball standpoint. But I think camp allows you to focus on basketball, but then when you leave the floor, you get to pretty much build that relationship with your teammates. Whereas if you're in Memphis, like, you might want to hang with your teammates, but mom might want you to come home to do this, or your girl might want you to come home to do that. Like, it's all ball, when you're away.
Well, I think it's a good point. Unfortunately for the Rockets, who went away outside of the country, lose their point guard in Fred VanVleet. So just by happenstance that occurred, and that's certainly sad news for them. All right, there is going to be an open practice for the Grizzlies. So to your point, they're all business in Nashville, but they're coming back on Saturday, October 4th at FedEx Forum. And that's really neat. They've done this now for a number of years, but I believe 1 o'clock on the 4th at FedEx Forum. There'll be a plaza party as well. That'll tip off at 11 o'clock. So it'll be a big to-do to introduce themselves, especially the new guys, to the fans of the Grizzlies.
Yeah, for sure. And it'll be fun, do the thing with the rookies every year. The rookies are going to have to get out there and bust a couple dance moves and things like that. So I'm looking forward to it. It's always it feels like one of those type icebreaker moments for like the rookies that they can kind of get at ease with being around the fans in FedEx Forum and things like that. So it'll be a good opportunity to kind of for us fans finally to lay eyes on these guys and see them up close.
You were out there at AutoZone Park for the Grizzlies Day over the weekend with Cedric Coward, Javon Small out there, but you got a chance, and I know Coward, I guess, said he's 100% clear, ready to go, but what'd you take from your conversation with him, and how did he do on the first pitch?
He actually, he got that long wingspan. It felt like his arm was halfway to the plate when he let the ball go. He put a little pizzazz on it. He had a little heat behind that ball. It was a little high, but it wasn't in dirt. It wasn't a dirt ball, and I think it was a solid first pitch. I think he had a really good first pitch, I kind of been hearing that he's been doing he's been doing his thing in workouts and whatnot. But so just talking to him, kind of just confirming that, yeah, he's 100% ready to go. But to me, it wasn't even just that he's 100% ready to go. It's that the Grizzlies are going to kind of, let him be free in training camp. He's not going to come into training camp and they say, hey, he's going to be limited. He's going to do this, but he won't be allowed to do that. It's not that type of situation. The Grizzlies are going to he's pretty much like everyone else who's healthy. He's going to get a full go at it. So he'll go into training camp with no limitations, which, I think is a great thing for him. And, they wanted to take their time. They wanted to say, hey, look, Summer League is cool and all, but it is not as important as what we're trying to accomplish in the regular season. This is a pick that you invested in. You traded up, number 11 pick. He's always going to be attached to Desmond Bane in a way. So you want this pick to be nice. You want Cedric Coward to turn into a nice player, and the Grizzlies are doing a good job trying to manage his expectations. But you don't trade up for a guy with the 11th overall pick if you don't think he can be something.
And you start on equal footing, right? You're not starting behind the 8 ball by missing time or being limited. So it's great to see that he's 100% go. DeMichael Cole joining us from the Commercial Appeal, joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Okay, so as far we heard from Brandon Clark recently, he said he's ready to go. We've heard from Jaren Jackson Jr., who said, we'll see, but people will be happy. So is it your understanding that pretty much the only person that is not 100% is Zach Edey and maybe Jaren Jackson Jr.? Everybody else is?
I think, yeah, to my understanding. Everyone pretty much is in good health condition right now. So now last year, we got to camp, and I think Cam Spencer came in with a boot on, and a couple things popped up.
Right.
But yeah, so for the most part, the Grizzlies are actually doing fine. Somebody out there, knock on some wood, but yeah, they're doing pretty fine right now.
There we go.
But I think even with Zach Edey, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'll say that I don't think Zach Edey is going to be out for some long period of time.
What would your guess be? Well, and again, it's just a guess.
Yeah. My guess right now, I would say closer to a month than 2 months or anything like that. So I know some people have kind of thought maybe he'll miss a couple months. From the conversations that I've been having, I don't think that'll be the case.
So you think it would be December 1st? Good.
I think that's a good baseline at this point in time, and of course we'll learn a little bit more next week, but it doesn't. This isn't something I feel like the Grizzlies are concerned about. I think they're very happy with his progress so far.
What would you say going into camp? Like the biggest things they need to figure out is, I guess that at the wing position with Vince Williams Jr., G.G. Jackson, kind of how they fit in. Like, what are the things you think need to be figured out in camp?
Man, I mean, Eli, there's so many things because I'll start with one. I want Ja to kind of own the alpha role. I think in the past when you had Dez and Jaren, you could say, "Oh, I'm a pass first point guard, but I'm a scorer." When I have to and things like that. Now you gotta score now.
Yeah.
Ja Morant should average 27, 28 points a game. I don't think that's asking too much of him next season, where you're going to have two guys flanking you on the wing who are pretty much spot-up guys. So he's going to have to get to it. He's going to have to be really aggressive. I want to see Ja kind of own that role, saying, you know what, yeah, I'm ready for more to be put on my plate. You don't have to say exactly like that, but just the understanding that this is a year where more is going to be expected of me because we just lost the 20-point-per-game caliber scorer. The other thing from a schematic standpoint is I want to see what in the world Ifilo's system is going to look like.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
we have a clue, right, what things are going to look like offensively. And I said this on my podcast the other day, but no one is really talking about what things are going to potentially look like defensively. Like, you can go at Taylor Jenkins all you want. The one thing that you could bank on when they had the personnel, because I say last season they just didn't have the personnel. When they had the personnel, the Grizzlies were a top 10 defense every single year under Taylor Jenkins. Top 10 defense every single year. Now, new coach, not just new head coach, pretty much, revamped coaching staff. What will that defensive scheme look like? Taylor Jenkins was very big on, hey, we want to take away high percentage three-pointers, and we want to take away the paint opportunities. We want to force you to make shots in the mid-range. We want to force you to take the long wing three-pointers with and things like that. And sometimes, we saw the guys like Derek Jones, Herb Jones, Rui Hachimura. Those guys had big games against the Grizzlies sometimes because they would just straight up not guard those guys from the three-point line under Taylor Jenkins. But I think not enough is being said about the fact that we're about to see probably a completely different defensive system. And what will the emphasis be? Because I know from a mentality standpoint, some things are different with Isolo and Jenkins. In particular, I remember talking to Isolo, about the mid-range shot, right? And that's like just about what do you want to take away on the court. And he was speaking from an offensive standpoint in terms of, hey, if you take something away, there's always going to be something else there. I think he has a different mentality than Taylor Jenkins did. When Taylor Jenkins was so focused on taking away the paint and taking away certain three-point shots. So I think we've kind of, in Grizzlies land or whatever, we've been so focused on the fact that offense, because of the grit and grind days, the defense was there. Because of the earlier days, the Taylor Jenkins, Ja